A very good evening once again. You're watching News 9 Facebook Live with me, Adarsh Vepachedu. Whether to send children to school or not to has become a point of great debate across the country and the world over, with educational institutions, in a sense, beginning to open up. Now, here in Karnataka, degree and diploma colleges will in fact begin opening up from the 17th of November. And when it comes to schools, educationalists are saying that schools must reopen, but pediatricians are constantly telling the Chief Minister that the time is not right for us to open schools. Now, at this crucial juncture, when there is a sort of a tug of war, so to speak, between educationalists and doctors, a couple of updates could come as lessons for us. Update number one. The Mizoram government has decided to close all schools from October 26th after a warden and 12 students of class 10 and 12 who had been attending classes since the 16th of October tested positive for the novel coronavirus. Next up, update number two. All staff and students from two particular schools in the northeast Melbourne have been told to immediately get tested for COVID-19 after the emergence of further cases in the region. Victoria on Saturday reported 7 new cases of coronavirus, out of which 4 are from the suburban Preston and 1 is a student from East Preston Islamic College. So where do these two updates leave us? If schools reopen amid the pandemic, how safe will it be for the children? Do we need a relook at our protocols? And more importantly, how do we strike a balance between lives and education, neither of which should stop? To answer some of these very pertinent questions, we have with us renowned pulmonologist, in fact pediatric pulmonologist, Dr. Parmesh, joining us on the program. Many thanks, sir, for speaking to us and for spending some time out of your busy schedule on this very topic. Assuming that the schools in Mizoram were following all the kind of necessary guidelines that have been laid down by the government for the overall functioning of schools, what do you think has gone wrong, resulting in as many as 12 students testing positive in the state?
Well, first of all, it's my honor to be in your show. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
But definitely, lockdown in schools definitely helped in delaying the disease transmission, reduction of peak burden in the healthcare infrastructure, diminishing overall cases in the health impact. It was done as early as 1918 in the United Kingdom, in Israel 2000. And also, when the schools are open, they should follow social distancing, respiratory etiquette, hand washing, sanitizing, face mask. Surface hygiene is very important. It's a fact, children, when they get the disease, their mortality is much less, as a matter of fact. However, they spread longer period, and spreading is much more from them. It is a fact. The question is, online is definitely, it is a silver lining on the dark clouds. It definitely helps the doctors, other professionals, where we can, various international access to the professionals, we can exchange views.
True.
And I can foresee the future need as an extent. However, learning in regular school and classes cannot be matched with online learning. Why do I make this statement? A recent study has just come from Delhi, where 289 parents, the predominantly graduate mothers, were interviewed, where 83.7% of students attended the online results. The results are 78.5% parents say they are less satisfactory. 80.6% of parents said their children have poor attention span and concentration.
All right.
82.4% said they have a lower learning and in theory and practical aspects. 52.2% children learned surface surfing and also online game and competition. They're more involved in that one. 45% said they're very irritable, and 45% of children, they want to go back to school and play in school. And nearly 43.3% of the children, parents, they saw children having reduction in the self-hygiene.
Mm-hmm.
The same, even the school also maintained good hygiene. Children also self-hygiene, it can continue in school also.
It's true, true.
But it's very difficult. Parent in one way saying that then government has to do this one, where somewhere we have to balance.
Correct.
As a matter of fact.
Correct. You're right
Where
there.
it is very difficult, sir, to answer.
True, Dr. Parmesh.
Yes.
Now,
Yes.
Doctor, talking about Karnataka particularly, have you made any kind of appeal to the state government regarding the opening of schools, and what has been your stand on the matter?
Well, I'm not been requested for this request, but when anything comes there, I'll be open-minded to discuss anything in this context.
But I'm sure you know what pediatricians across the state are saying.
Definitely.
Please tell us about that, please.
Yes, sir. I think all the pediatricians, they say, I think we should be cautious about the many parents private schools. They don't want to send their schools.
Mm-hmm.
How many we don't know in Karnataka, but this is the study. I'm sure it goes along with the private schools, what it is. But same thing is going to be there here also.
Mm-hmm.
But if they start it with strict precaution, they should take it. Somewhere we have to draw a line. We cannot keep closing for a long period of time. At the same time, life is more important than livelihood.
True.
This we have taken in contrast to the other countries where they said the dollars versus death.
Mm-hmm.
I think because of these factors, somewhere extending the closing for the small children seems to be right, except in colleges.
Right.
In my opinion. Yes.
Dr. Paramesh, we should also, talk about what parents are feeling at this point in time. There must certainly be some kind of apprehension, especially with the emergence of such reports. What do you have to say about what parents may be thinking? You spoke about this study also, but again, it's a very difficult choice for the parents to make, isn't it?
Exactly. And also, it is also, especially these are all the private school parents can afford the money.
Mm-hmm.
These fine. Imagine in the school in the rural area, they don't have the laptop or a desk, anything like that. What can those children do?
Correct.
That we have to take it in consideration also. I think school has to somewhere have to open with all the precautions, and surface cleaning is a must, as a matter of fact. Small children cannot wear the mask, run around, because they have to hand and mouth habit is always there.
Yeah.
It is being appreciated. Every child has to eat 750 million grams of dirt every single day.
God, okay.
We adults, we have a hand and mouth of ourselves. Almost we take about 50 milligrams of dirt every day, touching our mouth and all these things.
So that's again staggering numbers, and not many really know about it. But once again, Dr. Paramesh, state governments across the country have been pushing for online classes so that education doesn't really stop. But continuous online education for say 4 to 5 months will lead to its own share of complications. How do you really deal with that kind of a situation then?
That is a very difficult question to answer, except educating the parents and parents spending a little more time on the children. And this is a very difficult question. Where you draw a line? If you draw a line this way, in another few months.
No matter which way you draw a line, there would be a party that would not like it.
Exactly. I think there is no uniformity. Every person talks, some decision you make, if it goes right, they keep quiet. If it goes wrong, they complain about it. There's lockdown, they're complaining about it. As a matter, it saved so many lives, unbelievable lives they have saved, as a matter of fact.
True.
Yes.
Dr. Paramesh, lastly, if we were to really look at a situation where schools will reopen, because they would eventually, what kind of changes in guidelines or protocols that you expect, or what are those few things that must certainly be in place as schools reopen, both when it comes to what the school should be doing, what the students should be doing, and what the parents should be doing? What are those few key matters that we must all keep in mind?
I think the school has to make sure the thermostat has to be done. It's not the best thing, but make sure every child gets his thermoscanning, and also the school should arrange the social distancing, and also make sure the children can wear mask at a certain age, and strict hand washing while playing and all the things, and the surfacing the school has to be done every day. So, and when the break period also, and when we were starting, we were closing, it has to be done surfacing, And when they come to the school, the children go to play.
That's
You
true.
cannot avoid it.
You cannot avoid it,
In the
yes.
play is another thing. Gymnastic could be better, where individual sports, shuttle, table tennis,
Okay.
or running, swan, that kind of sports is preferable
Instead of
than
group sports.
team sports. Yes. Those are all the things they have to take into consideration.
True, true.
Yes.
Dr. Paramesh, lastly, just
Yeah.
before we let you go, do these two reports, one coming in from Mizoram, the other from Melbourne, do they somehow really answer our questions when it comes to how infectious children are, whether they can pass on the disease to others? Do you think that these reports with multiple students catching the virus, do they answer these questions?
I may not able to answer that question right at this moment. I like to have a little more depth in that one. I'm sure they followed these guidelines. This is recommended by the WHO.
True.
They have followed these guidelines. This with there, but children definitely up to 14, 15 years, mortality is almost zero.
Mortality is zero, but they are
Yeah.
capable of infecting others.
Yes, yes, sir. Children, as a matter, when compared to adults, they transmit, the incubation period is longer. They transmit the disease, spread the disease little longer period.
Okay.
It's a fact.
Okay.
It's a fact.
Okay,
Yes.
so that has been, in a sense, confirmed if we were to say that looking
Yeah.
at these two reports.
Exactly.
Many thanks, Dr. Parmesh, for joining us, for speaking to us about how a couple of reports from one from Mizoram, the other from Melbourne, are throwing light at what could happen if, in case we were to go ahead and open schools. We are yet to try and understand whether these two particular schools, or whether a bunch of schools in Mizoram and a bunch of other schools in Melbourne, whether they were really following the kind of protocols that have been laid down or not. But bottom line really is, it is possible that your ward could catch the coronavirus at the educational institution if, in case, proper precautionary measures are not taken. So yes, a lot for the state government, for the central government to really think about before they go ahead and allow the education institutions across the country to open up. If you like the information that we've shared with you this evening, do not forget to like, share and subscribe to News 9 on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram and Twitter. Many thanks for joining us.